Boarding school can do a lot to you as a person.
It can drain you emotionally, slowly stripping all reasons to continue living until all that occupies your mind is a constant existential crisis. Or it can destroy all your unique personality traits that make you you until you become nothing but a void for the demons to inhabit. Dab on it. I saw myself going down these paths, so I did what any young boy would do and left for the beautiful paradise that is known as the Northern Territory. There I relaxed,
exorcised the demons that plagued my soul,
and consumed several pieces of media. I binged Riverdale on Netflix, watched Wonder Woman with my whiny little brothers, saw Singing in the Rain for the first time in an outdoor cinema, and watched The Salesman on a small screen on a plane. So I've decided to dedicate this video to reviewing all these movies, with all the shits and giggles that come with it, of course. So welcome, everybody, to the newly rebooted Movie Bundle Review. So the first thing I watched wasn't actually a movie, it was the transcending show known as Riverdale. And let's just say, I have a lot to talk about.
It's pink and white, if the ground is black and yellow.
So Riverdale's the new Netflix series that's really popular with the teens lately, because 13 Reasons Why, it ain't hip anymore. The basic concept of the show is taking the characters from the Archie comics, because why not? And what the show basically does is that it takes the characters from those comics and twists them to make an edgy, dark show for teenagers. And yeah, this show, it's pretty bad, but I can't just make a blanket statement like that and not follow up with it. So let's delve into the reason why this show is such a massive clusterfuck. So the story of the show is about this kid named Jason who gets murdered. And the show's trying to go for this concept of a kid gets murdered in a seemingly innocent town and then the dark secrets start to spill out. But the show just completely fails at this because there are so many dark secrets that you eventually get desensitized to them. Every single episode has some BS scandalous plot thread to really rile up its viewers. I mean, it has everything. Teacher-student love affair, cousin incest. But not only do these scandalous plot threads eventually desensitize you to all the twists that come afterwards, they basically made me forget what was even happening in the main story. The story just feels like a really morbid 14 to 15-year-old writing all their edgy thoughts down. But then that really morbid, edgy teen constructs those ideas really poorly. So only half of the episodes progress the story, and the other half is just random bullshit that you don't even care about. So yeah, overall, the story ain't good. Oh, the characters. The characters is where it gets juicy, kids. The words that come out of these people's mouth is comedy gold. A few minutes in and I'm already the Blue Jasmine of Riverdale High. My family is a Greek suburban tragedy. A jock makes fun of an emo kid by calling him Donnie Darko. Donnie Darko. How is a jock going to know who Donnie Darko is? Anyway, let's get into these main characters. Archie is just like a really boring, uninteresting, perfect, pretty boy. They try to give him personal struggles, but it just doesn't work at all. Like, I want to play guitar, but I also want to be on the varsity football team. And which girlfriend do I choose? My hot teacher or my hot best friend? Oh no. Betty again is just a really boring character. They try and give her depth with giving her some like anxiety disorder, but it just doesn't work. And then we have Veronica. Now, think of the most pretentious kid in your school. You know, that kid who brags about listening to vinyl and who needs to constantly remind everyone how they're not like everyone else in high school. Take all those characteristics and times that by 100 and you have the character of Veronica. Her reactions to really dramatic emotional events are either a sassy comment or complete disinterest. Like, just listen to some of the shit she says.
Do you guys go to Riverdale?
We do.
Yeah, we're
both
sophomores.
of us together.
Me too. I'm filled with dread.
Why is that?
Are you familiar with the works of Truman Capote? I'm breakfast at Tiffany's, but this place is strictly in cold blood.
Jughead was honestly the only interesting character. His personal journey was still pretty stupid, but I found myself getting interested in it at least. So that's like the one positive in like 500 negatives. way the dialogue's written, it's trying to get a reaction from the audience, where every character's insightful, well-spoken, and just cuts out the BS. But the dialogue just ends up being nothing but BS. Every line in this show is either a pop culture reference, a really terrible simile that doesn't make much sense, and the occasional pretentious thing a teenager would say, but times 100. So overall, the story's bad, characters are idiots, the dialogue is pretentious, and to sum it all up, Riverdale is wank. You goddamn liar. Honestly, how can you talk so badly of a show that you binged in 2 days? A show that made you squeal every time a new twist was revealed. Oh, that is so good. For once, stop being a critical douchebag and stop lying to yourself. You loved every trashy moment of this show. Now go watch season 2. You're right. Must watch season 2. So after binging Riverdale, I went and saw Wonder Woman, and it was okay. I didn't hate Wonder Woman, but I'd be lying if I said the praise didn't baffle me. Like, I understand some things. Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman was great, and the chemistry with Chris Pine was really entertaining, and the story was actually coherent, which, if you know anything about DC, is a rarity. But the pacing and structure of the film was too wonky for me to really get invested in this movie, and for me to understand the praise it's getting. And any form of greatness this film had was ultimately ruined by the third act. I know a lot of people have said this, but honestly, the third act ruined this movie for me. Not only is the third act over long and pretty boring, but it made a creative choice I was not fond of at all. See, throughout the entire film, Wonder Woman's trying to find Hades, the god of war, so she can kill him and end World War I. And in the third act, she kills who she thinks Hades is, but the war doesn't end. And then Chris Pine tells her that maybe you can't just kill one person to end an entire war, and it's really on the individuals. And I thought this was a great message about war and the complications of it and how it's not all black and white. And I thought it was a great character arc for Wonder Woman to learn that she can't just kill one guy to end this entire war. But then 5 minutes later, the film completely dismisses that, and what do you know? Hades appears. And Wonder Woman fights him, kills him, the German soldiers become enlightened and stop fighting, and then soon after, World War I ends. And I just thought, why would the film throw away this really good message it had about war and the complications of that, and just completely cut down the really interesting character arc Wonder Woman had? You set up this interesting message and then you just completely ruined it. But honestly, I haven't really added anything new to the discussion. Raf the Movie Maker has already discussed this in his video, so I want to discuss something people haven't been talking about. And that's the reason why these flaws are apparent. And it's actually pretty simple. Wonder Woman's directed by a woman. And women can't direct! They're passive! They don't have that oomph to make a really good movie. You really need a man to just tell everybody what to do so he can make a good, fun movie. Women just can't direct. Women suck at directing. And if I'm gonna be completely honest with you, I personally think that, in general,
women suck! Whoa, whoa! Where am I? The feminist clan has spoken.
you have been summoned here to be punished for your sexist ways.
No, I'm sorry. Sorry doesn't cut it. Tasty? Bottle flip Russ? Come on, man, we've got a video to finish. You're right. The show must go on.
A day after watching Wonder Woman, me and my mum went and saw the classic musical Singing in the Rain at the Deck Chair, an outdoor cinema with lovely food, a gigantic screen, and free posters. And well, after watching Singing in the Rain, all I can say is that it's amazing!
I'm singing in the rain, just singing in the rain.
I don't want to sound like one of those pretentious people going,
I miss the golden age of cinema.
because one, I wasn't even alive then, and two, I understand that films have changed, but honestly, this is cinema! I've never seen a film that's able to be so wholly optimistic and pure and still not be mushy. It's still able to maintain an innocent sense to it, but it's still really witty. For the era this film is made in, it's able to be so self-aware and, dare I say, meta. The movie being a musical about making a musical just adds another layer to it, and I think if I watched this in the 1950s, my mind would have been blown. But probably what I love most about this movie is how masterfully crafted it is, without taking itself too seriously. The performances from Gene Kelly, Debbie Reynolds, and Donald O'Connor are utterly charming. The singing is beautiful, the dancing is amazingly choreographed and staged. The colours are lush and the editing is perfect. There is one bad cut in this movie, everything else is done to perfection. And then you have this satirical-esque outlook on cinema and how movies were made in the time period the actual film was made in. But you don't have to notice any of these things to just have a blast with Singing in the Rain. You can just watch it as a funny, silly musical to whack a smile on your face. But if you want to have a bit more to chew on while watching the film, there's heaps of things below the surface. Now, I know this is a pretty quick review, but honestly, I just want everyone who hasn't seen it to see it. It's a classic, it's one of my favourite movies of all time now, and please do yourself a favour and watch Singing in the Rain. The morning after watching Singing in the Rain, the inevitable happened. It was time to hop in a plane and return to boarding school. I thought this was going to be the end to my Northern Territory film journey, but while on the plane, a little movie caught my eye. The Salesman. A foreign film. If I watched this, I would be so
Cultured.
So cultured. I would be the most cultured kid in school.
So I'm out here, outdoors, because honestly, I'm pretty tired of being inside. Anyway, we're going to quickly talk about The Salesman, because even though a lot could be analysed here, I'm just really lazy and decided to quickly summarise my brief thoughts instead of, making a thoughtful piece on it. What I really like about this film and other realistic dramas like it is that it's not trying hard to be cinematic. It instead takes events that sadly could happen in real life and builds upon them instead. So everything feels really real. The film does a really good job of giving you information in small amounts. Lots of little hints are dropped throughout the film and always at the back of your mind while you're watching it. And when they come into the forefront of the film and they manifest into something much more significant and important to the story, it's just more rewarding as a viewer because it was already in the back of your mind. You were already thinking about it. And it just makes the film more intense and kind of engages you a lot more than other films would. If you're willing to sit through the more slow burning aspects of this film, I definitely give it a watch because the payoff is definitely worth it. The ending left me speechless and really messed with my moral compass and just made me think a lot about, my morals and what I would do in that situation. And it's not like before the ending the film is boring. In fact, the opening scene alone is enough to engage most of the people who watch this movie. Because I don't want to spoil it, but it definitely hooked me in. Anyway, those were my brief, lazily written thoughts on The Salesman. I will catch you later, honeys. And that's basically it. After getting picked up from the airport, I was driven back to the dreaded boarding school, but returned with a little more enthusiasm.
Oh, what's up, Amanda? You're back. You ready to make some more dank YouTube content? Oh, you bet.
Daydream, I fell asleep amid the flowers for a couple of hours on a beautiful day. Daydream, I dream of you amid the flowers for a couple of hours. Such a beautiful day.